It took me as a shock, as I'm sure it would have taken all of you. When I heard the very sad news of the passing of Lennox Wesley Powell. I did not know his full name. I only knew him as Peter, as I'm sure all of you did. I particularly felt sad by this because Peter and myself were WhatsApp chat friends. Now, I don't know if he was only sending me WhatsApp like every morning, or if he did that as part of his routine. But I must be honest, I wasn't able to respond to everything that he said. But I used him as a good weather vane. In other words, just reading some of the things he would have said to me would have given me a better view of what was happening in certain parts of the country where I may not have had a perspective or access. My mind immediately went to Manor Yard, because I know that the bond between himself and Manor Yard was so close. It was so close. I'm about to say something that might sound a little bit strange, but he is oftentimes viewed as Audley's right and left hand. But you know his situation. But that just tells you the kind of person that he was. Though he was not physically fully able, it did not stop him. I think as we look back at his life and his contribution, I think we have to agree that Peter was a special person. So, I met Peter obviously many years ago. And when I first met him, I heard that he was a truck driver, that he drove trucks. And I said, no, sir, no, not possible. But I actually saw him for myself. And he was driving like any fully able-bodied person. Aside from his determination to live a full and normal life despite any disability, which was just supremely admirable, Peter was an independent thinker. And I want you to, and this is where I'm paying tribute to him. I mean, others who know him far better than I do will be able to speak to other areas of his life. But I wanted to focus on the independence of his thought. Because we all know that Peter is a Labourite. Amen is sufficient. He was a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. Unapologetically so. And that is the beauty of our country. As I stand at this pulpit, I'm doing so fully recognizing that I can't go too far in the things I will say. But it is important that as Jamaicans, we are able to freely associate and identify with our politics of choice. And he did not hide the fact that he was a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. But Peter was not a sycophant. Meaning that he was not a fanatic. In other words, he didn't agree or followed blindly everything that the party did. Because he was a self-made man, an independent thinker, and above all else, he wanted to see the best for his country. So yes, he was a Labourite, a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, but above all of that, he was a patriot. And there are some who believe that the two things can't work together. But I'm sure Peter placed things in order. His God, his family, his country, his political party. Of course, his family would be Northeast. Because my understanding is that he took so much interest and made so much effort in organizing for Northeast Manchester, treated the people very much like his family. So I wanted to share with you, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing these things with you. So during the pandemic, he was profuse in his messages to me. He didn't agree with many things. You know, he didn't agree with lockdowns. And if I were to read some of them, you would laugh. He says, "Good morning, Prime Minister." And I'm sharing our private conversations, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He says, "Good morning, Prime Minister. I went on the road this morning to service a tractor, and the road is full of people going about their business. I think it would be better to close the country from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily instead of the whole day. Plus, I see business people in deep rural areas are opening and even selling cash pot and doing other things, while businesses in the town have to be closed. And after 2 weeks of lockdown, the numbers are still high." And that was Peter sharing his perspective. And I will tell you something. I listened. That is how you stay in touch. That is how you get an understanding. Because sometimes, you know, we are in Kingston, we are locked up in cabinet, we are discussing things back and forth. But, you know, I am on the ground, yes, but I may not be in some deep rural parts where a different perspective prevails. We may be making policy and we think the policy is working a particular way, but it is not. And so we need people to give us feedback. We need our supporters, people who believe in the cause or not, to say to us, listen, what you think is going is not what is going. And so that is the value that we have lost in a having someone like a Peter, who is not afraid to speak his truth to powerful people. And so I pay tribute to him today. I mean, you know, if I could read another one, if you would permit me. He says, "Good morning, sir. Things are not going well on the ground. Reprices of local goods. Yesterday, steel prices went up by $10,000. So you were telling me this on March 8, 2022, when we were in the height of the inflationary spike. He says fertilizers, chemicals, and seeds are out of reach. And he went on. But the good thing about him is that he understood the issues in a deep way. He says, "You and I know that we have no control over international prices." That's what he, after listing out his grievances with the prices increasing, he said, "Prime Minister, you and I know we can't do anything about it. International business that." But he went on. "But I think that some large business owners are adding too much markup on their goods." That was Peter. And he urged me to get prices and inflation under control. Yes, sir. And so I will miss our early morning messages, because he sent me these messages very early in the morning. You get them too. And I will miss having the eyes and ears of a conscientious, independent thinking supporter and patriot. I'm sure when Manayard speaks, he will express his own sorrow and grief in losing someone who was so integral to the constituency organization. But I stand here today as leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, paying my respect to a supporter, a member, a worker, an organizer, someone who truly had the party's interest at heart and who definitely had the country's interest at heart. I hail him as a good husband and father, a good family man, a good community man. I hail him as a servant of the people and a true patriot. May light eternal shine on his soul, and may we remember his contribution to building the community and the country. God bless you.